I think there's two different questions. I don't think it will have a huge effect on China. I think there will be some effect, of course, but because the United States is just not a big enough part of Chinese trade, and it's not actually a very big part of world trade. It's less than 20% of world trade. It will have an effect on globalization because it will divide the world economy really into two parts. One is what you may say the big global South economies, who are growing most rapidly: China, India, Indonesia, Brazil, etc. They don't want deglobalization. They don't want protectionism. They've been very successful, and they will continue to grow rapidly. The second, however, is the United States has obviously embarked on a path of protectionism, which will make it even more slow growing. So you will have a protectionist, slow growing part of the global economy. And then Europe doesn't really know which to do. On the one hand, from an economic point of view, it would be much more sensible to go with China and the global South economies. But on the other hand, the United States makes big political pressure on Europe. So the result of which is Europe in a big mess. It's a big war, inflation, slow growth, and that will be it. So I don't think the effect on China will be very great, but it will really divide the world into two growth parts. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, what insights do the proposal of Chinese-style modernization and global governance initiative bring to world development and security?
Well, there's two aspects there. One is that we may say for the whole world, that includes the advanced countries and the developing countries, China is the biggest supporter of globalization and the concept put forward by Xi Jinping, which is absolutely correct, of the common destiny of humanity. That is, there are many problems which cannot be solved by one country alone. It can't solve climate change, it can't solve economic development, it can't deal with pandemics, it can't deal with terrorism, etc. So that's for all countries, and that means you need to have a global international system whose foundation should be the United Nations. There's no need to invent a new one. But the problem is that the United States want to overturn this system and act unilaterally. And this is a big problem. Then the second question, and therefore China is important because it's the biggest force which is supporting the open, globalised role and proper international system. Then for the developing countries, there's a different question, which is that China has shown what is possible to achieve for a developing country. In one lifetime, that is in slightly over 70 years, China's gone from almost the poorest country in the world to being a technological leader in a number of industries. I don't exaggerate, not all industries, but telecommunications, batteries, EV, green energy, these are not small industries. That's an incredible achievement. No developing country has ever done that before. There has never been a developing country which was a technological leader. Normally, the developing countries grow quantitatively. They can grow fast, but they don't expand the technological frontier globally. China is the first developing country which is the global leader. Now, therefore, obviously, every developing country in the world would like to copy this. It's the case they can't copy China. They don't, except India, they don't have 1.3 billion people to start with. But the fundamental features of China's economy can be. So I think there's also, therefore, considerably growing interest. Now, I know this because I do economic research and have some contact with big developing country governments. Are increasingly interested to know what are the lessons that they learn, not how to mechanically copy, but what are the lessons. So China's sort of got a dual position. On the one hand, for the whole world, it's the most important support for the existing United Nations-based global government system. And for the developing countries, it's the most advanced countries from the countries showing development, particularly technologically. Because up until now, let's say up to 10 years ago, or perhaps even 5 years ago, China was a very fast-growing economy, but it wasn't a technological leader. Now the new thing is China has become a technological leader, and that's where the global South countries